The customer took this truck in for a quick scan at a local parts store and they absolutely lied to him. Let's find out what happened. This is a 2019 Toyota Tacoma. It is the TRD Off-Road. I really like these trucks. They're stout. They're very, very good. But this customer had an incident pop up that reminded me why, and I wanted to do a video for you guys to talk about why we don't do over-the-phone estimates and quotes. It's just, this exact scenario happens all the time. This customer stopped by their local parts store and he had a check engine light on, he got the codes read, and they told him he had errors in his evap system and that it could be a vent solenoid or a purge solenoid. He needs to get it to a shop. They need to focus on the evap system. That's where the problem exists. Whoever the person was at the parts store completely dropped the ball on this. We're going to show you in a little bit what we found is actually wrong with this vehicle and how this relates to why we don't do over-the-phone estimates and quotes. But before we dive into it, let's take a look around this thing. I love the looks of this Tacoma. It's so nice. This front end looks so much better than a lot of the newer trucks on the road. It looks tough. It looks menacing. Very well designed. It's not really a pearl white color. It's kind of like just barely off-white, and it's very, very nice. It does have some Cooper Discoverers on it. We'll see they have 16-inch wheels, which is actually kind of small for today's vehicles, especially trucks. Most trucks are having 20-inch wheels now. I actually prefer the ride of the 16-inch wheels. We do have some pretty massive side steps. This one's in very good shape, guys. It's not caved in or beat up or anything. It does have some tiny little scrapes here and there, but nothing too serious. This does have the V6 engine, but very, very nice condition. Let's go ahead and hop under the hood. Before we continue on, I want to take a quick second to remind you guys, if you ever wanted a piece of the Car Wizard shop, Mrs. Wizard uses pieces out of the shop and makes really nice artworks, or we call partworks. She's got an eBay auction going on now with a lot of our really nice pieces for sale. There's a link in the description. You want to go check those out. The auction ends August 20th, 2025. Don't miss out on that really great opportunity. Here is our D4S V6, it says. It has a very, very huge engine cover on it. Even though it is a V6, there's plenty of room around it. What I really like is if you had to pull the heads off or do any serious work to this, there's plenty of room that you can reach on the sides, the front. I'll remove this cover. There's pretty much just a plenum under here, I think. Yeah, you can see it is. If you had to do spark plugs or any serious work like valve covers, you would have to remove the upper plenum to get to the driver's side of the engine. It's really not that big of a deal though, because spark plugs typically last 100 to 150,000 miles. So once or twice in the lifetime of this truck, you're going to have to do spark plugs. So really that's not that big of a deal. Here we see it says 0W20 oil. I'm seeing a lot of newer cars. I've even seen 0W8, 0W10, 0W20, and 0W40. They really like that zero nowadays. They're really going for efficiency with the lighter oil and trying to get tolerances tight so that they're basically fuel economy. That's why they're going for the really light oil. I haven't seen any trouble out of the 0W20 on any of the Toyotas. I don't think it's an issue. But where our issues don't reside in the engine bay. But I do see something that when it fails is going to be stupid expensive. Take a look at this brake master cylinder, guys. Our power brakes, ABS, everything is all in that one large chunk of aluminum. You can see a drum-shaped object that's an accumulator. So if that unit fails, it's not going to be $100 or $200. It's probably going to be $1,000 or $2,000. And that's just for the part. That doesn't include labor and programming and everything. But luckily, I haven't heard a lot of trouble out of those systems on the Toyotas. It's not going to break very often. Let's let Mrs. Wizard show you guys around the interior. It's really nice on the inside. Then we'll get this thing on the lift. There is some more issues that are not affiliated with our supposed evap problems as well.
We're at 99,911 miles. So, well, I guess it chose just before 100,000 miles before it had a supposed evap problem. But the gauge codes are simple, easy to read. It is very classic for Toyota. The dash, it is rubber. It's just a hard surface and it's looking nice. Nothing is broken. Nothing is spilling out. As we move down, we do have round vents. We have our glove box, a very large infotainment screen up there with a slot for our CDs. We move down, we've got just a couple of rows of HVAC and other buttons as well, and we see, well, the Wizard's Autel system there, which he's going to be using in just a second to show you what that code was that the parts store misread. We move back, we'll see we have our gear selector. We have a cup holder underneath their keys. Have our e-brake and a couple of little spots here to keep things, you know, tucked and stowed away. So they just keep the important things, the cell phone charger there, ready to go. What I love the most about this interior is this seat. Isn't this just beautiful? I love the diamond stitching in the center with some red accents on the side. They even have the diamond stitching in that headrest. Isn't that just absolutely beautiful? As we move to that door card, just lots more of that dark gray hard plastic. The back seat does not get the fun stitching that the front seat does, but it does have some kind of embossed areas in it, which is nice. They have removed the headrest, not quite sure why, but maybe it has something to do with when it lays down, not sure. But carpet's looking good. They have a cup holder at the back of the armrest for the people in the back seat. Headliner looking good. Nothing marked up, nothing falling down. And here we are at our steering wheel. And so we've got lots of controls up here, lots of buttons. They're looking pretty good, showing a little bit of age maybe on them. They're not quite as bright as they used to be when it was brand new, but enough of this interior talk. Let's get the Wizard in here and have him show us what is the code that's wrong with this.
So before we get it on the lift, I'll show you guys the codes and then we'll see what's going on. You guys can let us know in the comments below while we're getting on the lift and checking things over. You can research it yourself. What do you think is wrong with this truck? Let me pull up the codes for you. Low pressure, fuel system pressure too low. Rough idle, fuel rail pressure sensor, plausibility, stuck range. A couple of different codes there. So if you're curious, what is that code? P107A6A. Check it out, Google it, let us know what you think it is based on what you read. We'll get this on the lift and then we'll dive into these issues. But look at that, guys. Does that look like evap problems to you? Not a single code listed here has anything zero, zilch, 0% to do with the evap system at all. So anyways, let's get this on the lift, do a quick inspection, and then we're going to dive into what is going on here. Another reason I like Toyotas is, especially on their off-road vehicles or their trucks, no chintzy plastic or cardboard. And when you do remove these, everything is so easy to work on. Let's go ahead and do our inspection. So we can look up through the shield here and see if there's any coolant leaks or anything going on. If there are, it's going to be dripping down this ramp-shaped shield and pouring out right here. But we don't see anything. Everything looks good there. Let's check our brakes. And they are very thin. They have about 10% remaining. So those are going to need to be done. The front brakes are definitely at their end of their life. Strut is good, CV boots are good, our sway bar link is good. Check the other side. Again, brakes are very, very thin. Struts are good, CV boots are good, sway bar link is good. Here's our drain plug for the oil pan. Here's our transmission. Everything's nice and dry, nothing's leaking. Again, ease of serviceability, very easy to work on. Drive shaft is good to the front here. Here's a little transfer case. Everything looks to be in good shape. Our center carrier bearing mount here is not worn out. Everything looks good there. So this here is called the third member, Mrs. Wizard. Why don't you come touch my third member here?
Wizard, this is a family channel.
I guess. This is a differential that can come off. You can work on it and put it back on. You don't have to tear a whole bunch of stuff apart. Much, much easier to work on. We do have drum brakes, 2019, and we have drum brakes in the rear. But I don't have a problem with that. They work fine, they work great. We do see that our rear shocks are completely blown out. They're leaking pretty bad. And on this side, we do see the same situation. You can see that it's leaking oil out and starting to accumulate dirt. So both shocks, which are Bilsteins in the back, are blown out, unfortunately. Here's our rear spare tire, and it is really full of air, so that's good to go. So those were unplanned for. That was not on the list of concerns for the customer. 2 shocks in the rear and the front brakes are nearly down to metal, so it's time to get those things serviced. Let's get this thing on the ground. So if you haven't researched it already or you want to know what is going on with this vehicle, You looked up that P107A code. And we use Identifix here to really deduce really fast. It cuts a lot of diagnostic time, and it really helped in this situation. Look what we found. So there's our P107A code, and here's several instances. Replace the fuel pump, fuel pump, fuel pump. 5 of them right here. And they're talking about the fuel pump in the tank, not the high pressure pump. These codes pertain to low pressure issues on the low pressure side of the fuel system. But it starts and runs just fine. Why would it have a code on for the fuel pump in the back? I'll show you. It starts right up. But it is running a little rough. That's because the pressures aren't where they need to be. This computer can monitor your fuel pump pressure back there. Let me pull up the data and show you what we're looking at. So let's see if the information from Identifix was accurate. Let's see what we got going on with this particular truck. We always look at the data first. We don't just do the part scanning. Look guys, the computer wants the target low pressure fuel to be around 43 psi. And it's going full bore. This pump is screaming. It can barely eke out 33 or 34 psi. It's not able to keep up. This is another reason why I like Toyotas, because they have systems in place to tell you your pump's about to die before it happens. One thing the customer did complain about is their cruise control died. That's normal on a Toyota. We've talked about this in many videos in the past, that there's some Toyotas, when you have an emission system failure or misfire, the way that they force you to get it fixed, instead of saying, it's not a big deal, I'm going to keep on going. I'll get it fixed later. Toyota makes it to where you're not going to get it fixed later. You're going to get it fixed now, because some cars will actually turn off your air conditioner and won't allow you to have it back. Some cars will turn off your cruise control and they will not allow you to have it back. The computer says, no, you're not getting it until you fix this problem. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. Once this issue is fixed, which now we know is not anything to do with the evap system at all, then this cruise will come back on, everything will be happy. But can you imagine that you just called a mechanic shop, you went and got your codes read at your local parts store, they said it's the evap system, possibly a purge solenoid or a vent solenoid. So you call the shop over the phone and say, I'd like an estimate on those parts. And then the truck shows up, and like you just saw with your own eyes, it had absolutely nothing to do with the evap system. So the estimate we just wrote or told you over the phone was a complete waste of time. So the reason why we like to have the vehicle in the shop, so it's more accurate for you. It doesn't waste your time, it doesn't waste our time, and we can get exactly down to the nitty-gritty. What is really wrong with your vehicle, and get an estimate based on that. Also keep in mind that you just possibly, like this customer, called for a quote for the evap system repairs. It could have been a couple $300. What's really wrong with this truck, it's going to be way more than a couple $300. Can you imagine that you budgeted based on that, and then the mechanic calls you a few days later, which, by the way, don't get mad at your mechanic. Get mad at the parts store for telling you what's wrong with your vehicle, and it was completely wrong. And you find out instead of $200 or $300, it's going to be over $1,000. You'd be like, oh my God, what? I thought we had an estimate. No. You said it was an evap system and you wanted a quote on that. We hadn't had a chance to look at it ourselves yet. That's why we don't do estimates over the phone. 9 times out of 10, the vehicle shows up and it actually ends up being something completely off the wall different than what originally planned or thought. It keeps peace, it keeps happiness if we get to see your vehicle first. Luckily, we haven't had that issue with this customer. Very nice individual, really like doing business with this person. They did the right thing. They called and said, let's get this looked at before we start diving into numbers. They say it's an evap problem, but let's really find out what's going on. And we did. We found it. We targeted it like bullseye. We know exactly what's wrong with this truck now, and it's not the evap system. Also, we told him about his front brakes and his rear shocks needing services. He said, do it. Let's do it. I like my truck, and I don't disagree with him. I really like his truck too. Toyotas are still the best name in the game today. I know some of them are having troubles, but I still would trust them over the other troubles that other makers are having. We'll get these few things fixed. This truck will be back on the road everything working perfectly and driving nice and new again. And like I mentioned, I really like the styling of this truck, the TRD Off-Road. I love the way they look. It's so much better than the other offerings out there now. So if you're questioning, I'm looking for a medium or small size truck, which this is not like the small trucks we remember, is it?
No. Small trucks of today were like full size when we were kids.
Trucks are huge now. This is considered a small truck, even though we know better small little trucks. They don't make those anymore, unfortunately. But if you're thinking, what kind of truck should I buy out there today, and it needs to be mid or small size, definitely look into a Toyota. They really, really are good. If you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this Tacoma, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. A lot of the tools we use in the shop are for sale there, and if you purchase any of them, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. And the shop is extremely full right now, which means we're going to have so many more cool videos for you guys. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.